Hi, I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to use some RounDuo beads and two-hold SuperDuos, or you can use bar beads to create these nice beaded bead bridge beads. These bridge beads work really well with the Huggy earrings, whether or not you're doing rectangular or circle. You're going to see the front as well as the side of the design. If you need any materials, go ahead and look below the video. In the description, we'll give you links to get back to our site where you can gather everything up. The RounDuos actually came out of my treasure box from our subscription box, so you can gather everything individually or think about subscribing. Let's get started. I love a good beaded bead, and I love when you can find a beaded bead design that actually works with a bunch of different beads. So that's what this one is here. Here is with a 4mm and some 8/0s. The same design here's with some 11/0 seed beads. So we're going to be working with some RounDuo beads, and then my center bead, you can either use a bar bead or you can use a SuperDuo. I have the SuperDuos here. Some little tiny rondelles in the 1.5 by 2 11/0 seed beads, and then my RounDuos and my SuperDuos. We are going to begin by picking up a RounDuo bead, followed by an 11/0 seed bead, and we are going to repeat that a total of 4 times. Making sure that after you have on those 4 RounDuos, you also end with one of these silver lined alabasters. From here, getting down to the start, we are going to tie this into a knot. If you're a stop bead person, you can certainly use a stop bead too. Either way works. And I like these on the Huggy earrings. I think they're really pretty from the side and from the front, and just offer a lot of variety when it comes to the design that you can put on your piece. So now that I have my knot here, I'm going to go through my first RounDuo after the knot. Once I'm through there, and I should have mentioned I'm using size 8 dragon thread in the white. Once I'm through there, I'm going to step up in my design. To step up in my design, I'm going to go from the interior hole of the RounDuos to the exterior hole of the RounDuo. The whole way around now, I'm going to do a series in this design, which is going to be 1 and 2 of my 11/0s in the buttercream color, and then 1 of my SuperDuo beads. Go on over then, add 2 more 11/0s, and into the second hole of the next RounDuo. Same thing the whole way around. 2 11s, SuperDuo, 2 11s through the next RounDuo. And like I said, I love a good beaded bead. They're super fun to make. You often make them in a ton of colors and a ton of variety. And this is a great way to use kind of these multi-hold beads to create one. After you do your last of your bead here, we're going to go through the first 2 11/0 seed beads that we added onto the piece. We are going to step up into the first hole of our SuperDuo, and then we are going to go into the second hole of our SuperDuo. From here, we are going to repeat. So we are going to do 1 and 2 11s, and this time we're adding a RounDuo bead. 1 and 2 11s, and into the second hole of our SuperDuo. Give a nice tight pull. What's going to happen is these are going to sit right next to one another along the side. 1 and 2 11s, another RounDuo, 1 and 2 11s. If you want to make them smaller, you could certainly do these with 15s and RounDuo minis as well too. Anytime you do a little change up in the design, it is amazing to share it in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. It really does help others in the community to get ideas, to see the thought process that people have when watching videos and how they make it their own. It's really, really great. After putting on my last RounDuo here, just like I did with the SuperDuo, I'm going through the first 2 11s and then also through that first hole of the first RounDuo we did in group number 2. We are going to once again step up, going from the inner hole to the outer hole of that RounDuo bead. And now we're really going to fold these in towards the interior. You can see that beaded bead action happening. Folding them in towards the interior, we are going to do 1 11/0 and catch on to the second hole of the RounDuo bead. 11/0, second hole. You can also see how quick and easy these are, just watching the whole thing being done. Again, 11/0 into the RounDuo, and just like we did previously, back through the first 11/0 and the RounDuo, because what that does is that helps us to pull it nice and tight and get that nice boxy beaded bead look that we're going for. From here, we are going to step up again, going from the interior hole of the RounDuo to the exterior hole of that same RounDuo bead. We're going to sew through the 11 O's after the RounDuo, and we are going to sew through our SuperDuo bead. After going through the SuperDuo bead here, we're going to sew through and add in some crystals. All right, so once you have your square and you're coming out of your SuperDuo here, I want you to continue on and go through the 11 O's on the same side of the SuperDuo. Easier said than done sometimes, right? All right, so coming out those 11 O's, we're going to fill in the gap here between the RounDuo beads with some pretty crystals. We're going to pick up our secondary color of our 11 O, one of our crystals here, and one more of the secondary color of 11 O's. Go through the next SuperDuo with the 11s before, and see how that just sits pretty in the middle, almost like a little spring bud. Then into the next 11 O on the opposite side of the SuperDuo, gold 11, crystal, gold 11, into the opposite side, going on an angle. From here, you're just going to continue on doing the next couple. 2 more to go. Going opposite here, through the next SuperDuo, move that starter thread out of the way. And you really can change up and use anything for this design. That's why I said make sure to post your pictures in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, because it helps others out to see the creativity and which different directions you go. All right, going in here then back to the beginning, we are going to go through the 11 O's prior to the SuperDuo, and then I'm bringing my needle and thread out. We're going to change directions of which way our needle and thread are going. So we're going to go to the exterior of that SuperDuo, switch from one hole of the SuperDuo to the other hole of the SuperDuo here. Go through the SuperDuo as well as the 11 O seed bead. You can see I'm kind of pinching these, holding them right next to one another. Add the 11 O. Sew through the crystal that's already there. Add another 11 O. I'm going to spin it in my hand so I can go up through the 11s and through the SuperDuo on the opposite side. Give a nice tight pull since that's kind of the first one. It'll tighten it up nicely and get that nice ring going. From here, go through your seed beads. Once again, add an 11 O. Go through the crystal towards the side that you still need to add. Give a nice tight pull. Add an 11. Up through the seed beads. Sometimes if you can do the SuperDuo at the same time, great. If not, SuperDuo after. Through the 11 O's on the opposite side. Add an 11. Diagonal through your crystal. Another 11. Through the seed beads. Through the SuperDuo. Through the seed beads. Add a seed bead. Through the crystal. Add a seed bead. Through the 11s. As I go through the 11s, I'll also go through the SuperDuo there, just to add a little stop and start spot. And look how cute this beaded bead is when you turn it. Lots of different options you can go in now if you want to. Add another little seed bead to be a flower. To do so, you would go through the 11s. Go through the seed bead that's already there. Add another gold seed bead. Go through the seed bead that's already there. And through the seed bead row. Once you get done with one side, you do the other side, and it looks like a little flower around your crystals. Now you don't need to do that. You can keep it open. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do the little flower around the crystal the whole way, getting that little pop of gold in. And then the only thing you have to do is tie off the extra thread. Once you tie off the extra thread, The cool thing about it is you can put it on any sort of chain, any sort of cord. I particularly love these squared beaded beads on the rectangle Huggy earring. I think it goes perfectly that you can see it from one side and the other as you're wearing it in your ear. After adding that little interior seed bead on one side, I'm going back through and switching to the opposite side. I reverse my thread on one of the SuperDuos, coming on through. Same thing on the opposite side. Go through the first 11-0, skip over the crystal, add another 11, and go along the exterior. If it starts to get tight, you can always switch out to a size 11 or a size 12 needle. Sometimes the 10 can get a little tight depending on what route you're going and how many times you've taken the thread through the seed beads, especially because I'm using size 8. I like size 8 thread if you can, just because it makes it a little bit stiffer because the beaded beads stand independently. I have 2 more to add, going around this exterior here. Bead goes on, up through the SuperDuo, through the seed beads. You can see how I turn it on its side to kind of get the right angle to be able to go through those seed beads. So don't be afraid to kind of turn it as you're working with it. I do that with all of my pieces. On goes another seed bead through the next 11 O's. And now I've got to figure out how to get my thread and needle back to my starting spot. So my starting spot here, I'm going to pull this out and just go through my seed beads. My starting spot is on the opposite side, so see how pretty that looks. This also works as a flat bracelet as well too, and you can put some daggers on the interior. I might have to do a design like that. So I need to get back to the opposite side. I'm actually going to snake over and go through my 11-0 seed beads. I'm going to go through my RounDuo on this side here. I'm going to go to the interior of the RounDuo through the seed bead. That brings me out right next to my starter thread, which we tied off. I'm going to take my thread and needle right over left, left over right. Nice and tight. Take your thread burner or your threads up. Burn down those thread edges. You can take and separate out the strands if you want to, so that way they're not both ending in the same area. I definitely need a new battery in my thread burner here. You can tell. And then once you get those, I'm going to cut it down. You have your little pretty beaded bead already done. So this little beaded bead bridge is what I'm calling it. Again, you can take it and stick it onto a round form, and you'll see it from the front and from the side as you're wearing it. Or I really love it on these rectangular Huggy beads. I think it works great. It kind of mimics the SuperDuo look, and it looks great from the front and from the side. Thanks so much for joining me in creating this bridge beaded bead. It's really fun to see it in all different colors and to know that when you're looking at it, no matter which way, again, I love the rectangle ones with it, that you can see the design. It looks nice and elegant and has that extra little flower pop. Remember, if you need any materials, want to check out the RounDuos, you have some SuperDuos already at home, go ahead and look below the video. In the description, we'll put links there to get back to our website so you can gather everything up. As always, thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.